Hi there, I'm looking at some WEM accordion amps. Here's some, and I had about 7 from the Accordion Shop in Sunningdale. I'll put a link below. And they came out in the late 80s, I think, and the driver cones were made by a third-party manufacturer and suffered from the foam surround would perish, and so the cones would break and distort, and so we fixed all of these up now. And I was interested because firstly there aren't very many specifically accordion amps, and secondly they're not all the same. So I've got 4 different ones here, and those of you who know, maybe W.E.M is Watkins Electronics Music, and Charlie Watkins, who is also famous for making the Copycat and some guitar amps, the Dominator with the angled front and so on. Charlie Watkins was an accordion player and very interested in accordion music, and designed these amps for accordion players, especially accordion players who sang and maybe had some MIDI. So this is the classic Songbird front. This one is actually mine. It's a little baby Songbird, but I think it's the same inside, but it only has an 8-inch speaker. I'm expecting it not to sound as good as the rest. But you can see it's got a specific accordion input, which is supposed to enhance the sound of the reeds, and then the other input is really for vocals with a high and low impedance but 1/4-inch jacks, and then a master volume and 4 line inputs that you could put backing tracks or MIDI or keyboards or whatever you wanted into those. And so that one with the 8-inch speaker is pretty much identical to this one, and you can see it's the same panel really. But this has got a 10-inch speaker. They both got little treble driver as well, and then this one, not strictly, it looks the same, but it's not. It's smaller. It says Songbird 200 full range on the front, and it's only 2 inputs, so it's a kind of maybe a singer-guitarist kind of thing. It says 100 watts on it. It's the only one that's got a power rating on them. I always assumed they were 200 watts because they're called Songbird 200. But this one is called Songbird 200 full range, and it actually says it's got a 100-watt amp on it. But it's got a 4-band EQ there and no master volume. So slightly different. And these two both have extension speakers that look identical, so that looks the same as that. And I suppose if you were playing in a club, you'd put one either side of the stage or whatever. Though they don't have pole things, so you can't put them on a pole. But you can see this extension speaker is again not the same size as that. It's the same size as this, so I'm guessing that goes with that. That goes with that. That also has this also has an extension speaker out, so I'm interested to see what it sounds like with that. And then lastly, a different amp, the Phantom accordion and MIDI amp. It's got a few extra things. Again, it's got a specific accordion input, which presumably is EQ'd to be nice to reeds. And oh, it's heavy. And it's got reverb. It's a spring in there, though Charlie did have, W.E.M did have a digital reverb at some point. Anyway, the you can read that and decide what you think of it. A useful amp, 4 inputs I think, and we'll see how they perform. I've got an accordion, I've got an SM58 here, and we'll just put a mic and accordion in each one in turn and see what they look like, and maybe plug the extension speakers in and things. So I'm just recording on an iPhone XR, I think it is. So you can't judge a speaker through a phone and then your speaker, of course, so you'll just have to, you know, I'll say what I think, but you might hear some differences, I suppose. Let's see what they sound like. Shall we start with the baby, little baby one? So this one, turn it on like that, and get the microphone and stuff it in. So that's the accordion input, this is the microphone input, master volume down, volume. Let's go in low because it's a low impedance mic. 1 2 1 2 1 2 1 2 1 2. That sounds pretty horrible, but maybe this speaker's broken because I didn't actually. I think it is. Yeah, so my amp has a broken speaker. I have to do the fix on that. I did wonder about that. Let's go to the next amp. This belongs to the Accordion Shop, so dump him out of the way. Did you hear that little chirp? I've heard this. Some of these amps chirp when you turn them off. Again, that one's mine, so that's my problem. Not that I mind, I don't think it hurts anything. So that's going in and on, and master volume down. And here is the low impedance input with a SM58 going in, and that sounds loads better and very full and nice. And so let's see what the accordion sounds like in there. Whee! I've got a Beltrami accordion here with Music Tech Sennheiser pickups in it. So that's 3 condenser pickups along the front and one in the back, and with a little battery. So I'm going to go in the accordion input there, and let's see what happens. I'll probably feedback and will not hit because I'm right in front of it. Not recommended. It's very loud. God, it must be blisteringly loud because the volume's only on 1 there. I've got to say, it sounds great. Let's try plugging the extension speaker in. I've got the speaker lead somewhere. Oh, here. And see how much difference, if any, it makes. So an extension speaker comes out there and goes in here. Oh, makes it even louder. You can just hear it trying to feedback. Well, that's probably what you want. It just sounds louder and the same. 1 2 1 2. That sounds great. I'd use that. Right, so this one I'm going to turn off. See if it chirps. It did chirp, you see. There we are. And we'll go to the next one. I'll get this out of the way a bit. we'll dump this one. Maybe I'll take this accordion off just for a second. It's the lovely slick demo, you know. Right, okay, here we go, down. And you can get it on top of there. And get this one. And we'll put it in. And we switch it on. And we'll get the mic in. So this is the one that doesn't have a specific accordion input. So these are just high and low Z. And it doesn't have a master volume either, but it does have this kind of 4-band EQ. 1 2 1 2. Yeah, okay, but not as good as that one, in my opinion. Having said that, I went in the high Z input, so that's wrong. It's not as loud either, I don't think. 1 2 1 2. Sounds the same in the other input, actually. And, so let's try. So not as loud. And for me, not as good. Oh, it sounds alright. I like that one though. Like this one. Ooh, here we go. I'm going to put my accordion in there and put it on and see what happens. Here we go. I might go around this side actually. So that's the volume. Well, plenty of volume. A bit more kind of, but then it's got this 4-band thing. So I just pulled down the upper mids there, the lower mids. Maybe more. Maybe even more. I should be playing the same thing, shouldn't I? Everything, but never mind. Woo! So that is quite loud. I'll just turn it down a bit while I plug the extension speaker in. So the cable is here. And just go 1 2 without, and one, two. Well, yeah, the same but a bit more. It's all right. Turn this back up. Yeah, I would have said it's always a bit better to have, you know, the same thing twice, I think, spreading it around a bit. So that sounds nice to me. I'm going to turn that one off and we'll get the last one on. You can spin this forward if you like, or maybe I'll even cut it out. But I was trying to do a continuous video, partly because I just thought it meant people could tell that, you know, the phone hasn't moved, the sound is the same. I know you can't judge sound on these, on a video taken on a phone, but at least everything's the same. Right, here we are. That is the Phantom. So this has got 4 inputs, all with high and low impedance, volume, bass and treble, and a master volume and a separate presence. Did you notice that full range didn't chirp when I turned it off actually? Right, and so turn that on. Mic first. Oh yeah, and it's got the spring reverb, so we'll hear that, which will be nice probably. So master volume is down. I'm going in the low impedance of input 1. Oh! Yeah, no, input 1 is for accordion reeds. So, here we go. Low impedance, input 1, turn 2, master volume. There we go. 1, 2, 1, 2. And unexpectedly, I mean not unexpectedly, it's kind of, this has got a 12-inch and 2 tweeters, and it does sound a bit different, a bit more wide, if you know what I mean, which probably means there's more lows and more highs, which is probably good actually. And here's the reverb. How do I turn that on? Like that. And there it is. That's quite springy, and there's an amount, of course. So we can have a bit less. But when you put it full on like that, and it's a spring, so I expect if I bang it, I'll do that thing. Yeah, turn it up. Nice. Okay, right, so that is that, and then the accordion. Is that still plugged in something like that? Accordion into the accordion input. That sounds nice. Let's turn that up a bit. And reverb. Okay, so completely how you'd think that my little one is the most rubbish, but I think the speaker's blown. These Songbird accordion amps are great. The full range, okay, but it's not designed for accordion, I guess. And then this Phantom, I would have said was the best sounding. So there you go. But quite a lot bigger. So you know, if I didn't already have this little one, I'd want one of those. I think. I keep pointing down there. That's the second one I did. The Songbird 200 accordion amp. There you go. That's a little overview of those. Bye.